Okay, in this video we're going to introduce Module 3, Topic 3, Lesson 2. That's Module 3, pages 139 to 150. We're still working with equations, graphs, tables, charts, sentences, and we are converting one into the other three. So given any one, be able to turn it into the other three. I find the key to this is being able to turn any one of these three that you're given into an equation. And if you can turn it into an equation, then the other three tend to be easier. So that's going to be my focus. A standard equation that we can turn things in, there's different ways to write mathematical sentences. For the next couple of years, slope-intercept form, this y equals mx plus b, slope-intercept form is extremely useful. And again, y is the output. That's the vertical on your graph. X is the input. That, it changes. It's a variable. It changes. You give me an input, a value for x. You put it into this equation, and it's going to spit out a value for y. The only two values you have to find in this are m, and that is the slope, and it's the rise or fall, the incline or the decline if it's going down as x gets bigger, negative slope or a positive slope. Slope is just rise over run. It's just how steep the line is. Is it rising or is it falling? And then this value b, called the y-intercept, is the point where it crosses the y-axis. If you know where it crosses the y-axis and you can go, hey, to get from this point to this point, it goes up 1, forward 2, up 1, forward 2, that's the slope. And where it crosses this is the y-axis, b. That is when x is 0. What does y equal? And again, x is 0 on this entire line. If you have an equation, tables, charts are easy because I can just put in a value, like if I went, put a value of 1 in and into an equation, and I know what b is. Let's say b is 2. Then, and m is, well, let's say m is 3. If I put a 1 in, 1 times 3 is 3, plus 2 is 5. That is the coordinate when x is 1. This equation would spit out y is 5. This would look like y equals 3x plus 2. Has a slope of 3. That means it would go up 3 and forward 1. That's what the line would look like. And I'm going to intro and again show a little bit more of this because in this lesson, we're going to be working with examples that you can still write in slope-intercept form, but you often have to do a step ahead of time to make sure that the problem makes sense and you can use the equation to solve any sentence, chart, for any exact value. So let's just take a look and see what we can do with a couple of these. I have my handy XY chart, and again, my vertical is the output. That's the y. My input is the x. And x and y can have positive and negative values. Let's just start off with an equation in slope-intercept form. And again, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. M is slope, and b is the y-intercept. So I'll do my first line in red. I'm just going to make up an equation. Y equals 3 over 2 times x plus 4. Well, my first move, if I want to graph this equation, this is the y-intercept. This is where it crosses when x is 0, y is 4. So I start at the origin. The origin is coordinate 0, 0. X is 0, so I'm neither going forward nor backwards, and Y is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to put a dot right there. That is the coordinate 0, 4. Well, now I just need to find another, well, actually I can just take a look at this because this is slope. Slope is 3 over 2. So to find another point on this line, I'm going to go from my starting point, this 0, 4, and I'm going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, forward, positive 2, 1, 2. This is a coordinate on the line. When X is 1, 2, Y is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So when X is 2, Y is 7. And if I've done those properly, I can now connect them with a straight line. And that is the graph for this equation. Let me test it really quick. I said when X is 2, Y is 7. So I'm going to put in a 2 for X. Y equals 3 over 2 times 2 plus 4. Well, 3 over 2 times 2 is 3 plus 4, because these 2's cross cancel. So Y equals 3 plus 4, Y equals 7. So that works. When X is 2, Y is 7. And again, if I go from this point up 3, 1, 2, 3, forward 2, I should come across another point on the line. Up 3, 1, 2, 3, forward 2. Or back 2, down 3. Or down, like to go down 3, back 2. I'll keep getting points on the line. In fact, any value you give me for X, if I put it in this equation, it will give me a value for Y that is on, that XY are on this line. That is slope-intercept form. I'm going to do another one. I'll do this next one. I'm going to do a quick erase. And I'll do the next one in a happy blue. In this one, Y equals 2, X minus 4. Well, my y-intercept is negative 4. So again, I go to the origin, 0, 0, and I'm going to go negative 4. Down x 0, so y negative 1, 2, 3, 4. The coordinate x 0, y 4 is on this line. My slope is 2. You agree 2 is the same as 2 over 1. So my slope from this point goes up 2, rise, up 2, forward 1. Put a dot. Up 2, forward 1. Up 2, forward 1. Up 2, forward 1. And it creates a line. It creates a line that has a slope of positive 2. Again, a slope of 2 just means it rises 2, goes forward 1, rises 2, go forward 1, rise 2, forward 1. And the coordinate when x is 1, y is negative 2. When x is 2, y is 0. When x is 3, y is 4. Y is 2. When x is 3, y is positive 2. And again, any one of these values, I'm going to take this one. I'm going to put a 2 in for x and see if y really does equal 0. So I have my equation, and I'm going to put a 2 in for x. So y equals 2 times the 2 I just put in for x minus 4. 2 times 2 is 4. So y equals 4 minus 4. Y equals 0. So when x equaled 2, y equaled 0. That's a coordinate on this line. And it really was. We just did it. Let me erase my graph really quick, my equation and my graph. And maybe I'll go with a happy green pen this time. And let me put a dot somewhere on this. I'm going to put it at right there, and I'll put another one out here. So I went up 1, forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up 1, forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or down 1, back 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 1, back 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I should be able to draw a straight line connecting these points on. So if you were given this line, can you find the slope? Well, if you find a spot where it hits perfectly on where two axes meet, or two lines meet, excuse me, an x and a y, it hits perfectly right here when x is 0 and y is 1, and find another spot where it hits perfectly, right here when x is 5 and y is 2. To get from this point to this point, I went up 1, slope, up 1, forward, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That has a slope of 1/5. And where did this line cross the y-axis? At positive 1. So b equals 1. So the equation of this line is output y equals slope 1/5 of the input x, and b is positive 1 plus 1. In this case, we went from our line to our equation. Let's do another example. Maybe this time I'm going to use a negative slope. I'll go back to cheerful red again, and I'm just going to pick a value where this crosses. I'll still choose a positive value. I'm going to choose positive 3. So when x is 0, y is 3. And then how about when, I'm going to go right here. When x is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, y is 0. And I'll connect those 2 points with a line. So again, if they gave you this line and they want an equation, can you find the y-intercept where it crosses the y-axis? And the y-intercept is positive 3. And the slope of the line, to get from this point to this point, in this case we had to go down 1, 2, 3. So slope was down 3. But then we went forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it has a slope of negative 3/5. So the equation of this line is output equals slope negative 3/5 times x, and then the y-intercept, which is a positive 3. That's the equation of this line. And so in this section that we're going into, some word problems, you have to do an extra step to get the slope-intercept form, and we're going to be covering that. But we really want to be able to take a chart or table, turn it into an equation, a graph, turn it into an equation, or a sentence, turn into any of the above. And that's really where we're going to be, what we're going to be working on over the next couple of weeks, is just getting more comfortable with two-step equations, slope-intercept form, and how to turn equations into graphs, into tables, into sentences. So in the next video, I'm going to work with you. I'm going to start pages 139 through 143. And I'll probably do the first few pages with you just to get you started, and then turn you loose on page 143 to try on your own. Good luck, and again, let me know if you have any questions.